Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Yeah.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
All right, welcome everyone to episode 133 of the Massenomics podcast. Your same old hosts are here, Tanner and Tommy.
What's up?
Can you believe that's almost 134 episodes of the Massenomics podcast?
Dangerously close to that number.
Yeah, and everyone knows what happens at 134.
I mean, if you don't know, we're not going to tell you.
No,
you should know.
If you don't know, then you'll never know. What we were talking about before we started, we were talking about our own training and how
just
nobody probably cares about our own training. But what did you do today that you haven't done for a while?
Well, today I squatted for the first time in quite a while, and
when
I say quite a while, I mean just a little over a month.
Yeah.
But I mean that's for someone that being my favorite lift, that is a little while,
Yeah, I would say it is.
But yeah, I had this. My back had just been kind of bugging me. Just a really minor tweak on a deadlift. I've done it before, and in the past it was like just take it easy for a couple weeks. I think everyone kind of goes through something like that with everything. You have a lift that just something tweaks something.
Oh, yeah.
You take it easy, and that's exactly what I did. And
Super annoying.
Yeah, well, it's super annoying. Yeah, and that's exactly what I did. And for some reason this time it's just not really getting better. It's daily life. I'm like 98%. Almost don't even notice it.
Yeah.
In the gym, most lifts, I'm like 98% too. Basically don't notice it. But then when it comes to squatting, it's noticeable. And when it comes to deadlifting, it just flares it up again.
Yeah.
And it's super annoying. But today, hit squatting again. I was getting pretty tired of belt squatting.
Yeah.
There's only so much that you can do.
Yeah,
And I'm glad we have that. Cause if we
Right,
didn't
at
have
least you
that,
can do it.
Oh yeah, if we didn't have that, I
do leg extensions and leg
I don't know
curls.
I would.
And when you do that, it's like,
I would
this
go
isn't
nuts
doing anything.
That. Yeah, I would go nuts doing that. So we're lucky we have the belt squat. Like you can totally get it like a quad workout in doing that. But yeah, squatted today. It felt good. Like I'm kind of excited about it.
You did a couple plates. And
yeah, just a couple plates.
Did it bother? Was it noticeable in your back at all?
No, not at all. So, and that's kind of been the thing is like squat didn't bother it too bad in the first place, but I just thought like, okay, we'll just remove compression completely, and that should speed things up, and that seems to have had no effect. So we'll just take deadlift out of the equation for just a little bit now.
Yeah, because I'd say you've been careful not to pick the scab at all. So
well, yeah, that's the thing too. It's like
I've certainly done that for
I
months and months on end before.
Yep, and I think everyone can like say they're guilty of that at some point. Like, oh, I think this is okay, and then you hurt yourself again. Think this is okay, hurt yourself again, and so I just wanted to be really cautious with that, and I don't know.
So are you just going to slowly increase on the squats?
I think so. Yeah, I think I'll just kind of go with a little bit of a linear progression
Maybe
here.
You did 225 this week, like not 5.
So just a plate on, just put a plate on each week, linear progression.
Yeah.
But no, I'll probably just take it easy.
It's circular progression, like one full circle on each side each week.
Yep. And just like that, I'll be squatting over 5 plates again, no time.
Yep. But it hasn't bothered your bench really too much.
No, and I can bench fine. I mean, that's I like on a heavier day, I might feel it a little bit, but it's not like the next day I'm not like feeling, oh, what happened? It's nothing like that.
Would you say that you can bench heavy?
And I don't want to like make any crazy claims, but since the bench shirt has been out, bench has felt pretty good for me. So
coincidence or
causation,
correlation?
Yeah, you do the math there.
You know what they say, big pecs,
cash checks.
That's right. I don't know exactly what it means. You would be the judge.
Yeah.
Get one and you'll find out for yourself.
That's right.
We do have the bench shirt in every size available still, from extra small all the way up to 3XL.
But some of the sizes are getting down there.
Yep. And we do have a plan in the works for those of you that are larger than 3XL. And we've said that these shirts run slightly small. So even if you're a normal 3XL, this 3X that we have might be a little on the small side for you. But we do, I think, have a tentative plan in place that soon we'll have larger sizes than that.
We're scheming over here.
Yeah.
We got to get those big boys taken care of.
Yes. Everything we've talked about so far is we're just purely ad-libbing this, but
just like freestyling. We're like Eminem on the mic over here, 8 Mile days, just doing it.
That's about how good we are, yeah. But what were we going to cover? We had a couple things,
Well,
a
we have
couple
a few things.
pretty big things.
Yeah, I think the first one, we talked about it for a whole episode, was the big dogs meet.
Yep.
So it's only right that we bring people up to speed on
We did the preview, so we better do the review.
recap. Yeah, the review. There we go.
Yeah. So first of all, I'd say I watched the live stream. It started
Had you watched it ever before?
Nope.
I've
never
only
watched
caught,
it before.
I've only caught highlights of it, and unfortunately, this weekend I had a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
I would have loved to watch it, but it wasn't. It didn't work out that way for me.
Squat started at I don't know if it was like 6 or 7 or something like that, and I was like, well, it is Saturday night. That's not terribly late for me. So I started watching it on my phone, and then I was like, well, this is way too small. So I got out my iPad, which I rarely use, but I was like, this is a time when I could use my iPad.
That's right, yeah.
So I busted it out and started watching it, and 7 o'clock is borderline getting a little late for me on on a Saturday night, but like it wasn't fully late yet, so I kind of watched through the squats. And then like by the time there's kind of a break in between, obviously, between bench, squat and bench, and then I watched through the bench, and by that time it was like 11 o'clock when it was over, and I gave up. Then I was like, "There's no way I can wait for the deadlift." So and then I had realized, well, it's recorded here. I can just. So I was up early with our baby in the morning, so I watched the deadlifts at like 5 a.m. the next day, yeah, because I was like, well, and I didn't go through Instagram at all because I wanted to watch it like it was like I was actually excited to see who was winning and not. I made sure not to even open Instagram in that amount of time.
That's the way to do it.
But the live feed was really good, I think.
So
I don't know. If someone else thinks different, you let me know. But to me, the live feed was like probably not an A+, but an A.
And that's, for someone that doesn't watch it, that is one of the things that I feel you see a lot, is people say the live feed is probably the best in the business.
I didn't know it was good. Like, I didn't know that that's what it was like, and I was shocked. It was kind of like I was watching an
actual sporting event.
Yeah, it was really good, and it wasn't cutting out, and they had a lot of like the
on-screen graphics.
Yeah, the on-screen graphics that they'd pull up in between attempts, what people are doing, and they'd go back to like instant replays all the time.
Yeah.
And they had an MC who was literally walking around the he stood up the whole time and it was, walking around the monolift or walking by the bench, and he's talking live to the crowd there. It's in an auditorium looking thing, and he's also MCing to the live broadcast also. And he did a really good job. I mean, he was up there talking for hours. And
it's not easy to do.
No, and it was good. I just did not know it was that good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sure they put a good amount of money into that. It was definitely like a production company that did what they did there, because he'd ask them like, "Oh, could you pull this up on the screen?" And then they'd
and it would just be
and then they'd have it right on the screen. Like, it was legit. They have to spend a lot of money on it.
Well, and even for someone that hasn't seen a ton besides the highlights, even like the venue looks cool, like the backdrop and like the monolift, like nothing is like just accidentally a cut. Like, things are the color they want them to be.
Yeah, it was super cool. Like, I can tell, I've heard it from the people that have competed in that meet before, how they say how professional that is of an event, like how you are treated like a professional if you're a lifter there, and I could really see it having watched it now. I would say, USAPL Nationals, which went on this week, they also do a good job of doing that, I think. But I don't know. Big Dogs really impressed me the way that they run it.
Yeah, and I think Big Dogs also has it in its favor that, what do they have?
9
lifters
right.
that they have to just dial in on and make this as good as possible.
Yes.
Whereas, like, the USAPL, they're always going to be kind of shooting themselves in the foot because they have to try and somehow make this production work for however many hundreds of people.
Yeah.
And then keep the commentary interesting or the graphic. Like, there's just so much going on. I don't know if that will ever be... I don't see how it could ever be of the quality that Big Dogs is unless they're dumping stupid amounts of money into it.
Yeah. Couple other just notes off the top. Peter Petrus, I hadn't followed him a lot before.
I hadn't either.
He, even compared to all these other guys, compared to Eric Lillibridge, Odell, compared to Brandon Allen, Sean Doyle, is enormous.
He's really, really wide, isn't he?
He is wide and tall and big, and his arms and shoulder, like his upper body is, I mean, he kind of looks like Eric Lillibridge, only he looks like he weighs 50 more pounds than Eric Lillibridge. Like he looks, like Eric Lillibridge looks enormously massive.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And this when I saw him come out for his first few squats, I was like, oh my God, if like this guy makes these other guys look small legitimately, if he doesn't win... Like, having seen him, I immediately knew that I had underestimated or not understood exactly how good he would be. But I don't know, squat wise.
Should we go into full recap?
Yeah, maybe we should actually cover the results of what happened.
So the first one would probably be to talk about would be the and I think we touched on this last week, was the heavy favorite, or some people's favorite, my favorite, totally guessing, was Milanichev, yes. And he, for whatever reason, hurt, sick, something, didn't make it. So already that kind of shakes things up because you assume even on his worst day he's going to be the top 3.
Yeah, there was some controversy about that, though, because they said some people said he tore a pec, but he lifted the week before in Russia in a WRPS meet.
Benched like 500 or something. So, yeah, it's weird circumstances.
Yeah, we don't know the...
But, so, yeah, now we're down to 9 competitors, and... It leaves it open, like it definitely gives. It was anyone's day, and starting with squats, just kind of looking at the standings really quick here. The number one
Odell,
the number one squat was Odell, with 1,014.
It was a good looking squat too. Odell, I'd never watched him lift before, obviously either, but you kind of know how Andre is, how he seems like not real animated and like pretty calm, and that's a lot. Like Odell is super calm and collected.
Like he's just there doing his thing.
Yeah, like he walks out and is just no hype that I saw, just pretty casual, and it really made me like him because I kind of like
the people that don't have to be like a freak show to get some weights going.
So I was like, oh, this guy, I got a lot of respect for this guy now.
I think that's cool too. And people, because that takes a lot to know yourself, because a lot of people just go into default like psycho mode. Like that's the only way to move weight. And,
right.
Like if you really are in tune with yourself, you might find out that isn't the optimal way for you.
Yeah. Who is the next best? Brandon Allen, I think 1,008.
Yeah, Brandon Allen with 1,000. That's his first 1,000-pound squat, isn't it?
First ever. His best before that was 975.
And what's that progress over the course of 6 months or so?
Yeah, and it looked good. It was a good squat. I think he could have squatted more than that potentially.
So it just seems like he's on the up and up right now.
Yeah, and he said he weighed about 350, which is pretty damn heavy for him too. So I think that helped. That body weight.
So that was in his favor, that extra weight?
Yeah, that's what he was doing that purposely, and he said within the week before he goes home, he's going to try to cut down 20 pounds just so the plane right. Like 350 was extremely uncomfortable for him.
I'm sure, yeah.
Who was after that?
And then third would have been Eric Lillibridge with 1,003.
That was on a second attempt. He missed his third attempt, which was like 1,058 or something like that. Mm-hmm. He got about halfway up and couldn't finish it.
Okay.
But so by missing that third, he gave up 50-some pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot and we'll find out here in the standings.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say for sure. Like that is.
Because he would have taken a different deadlift attempt probably.
Yes, but if he hits that squat, like all of a sudden he's like right there at the very top of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, once you give up that 50 pounds, like you're kind of playing catch up.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Peter Petrus, I think was he next too, and the thing, his opening squat, he bailed on it.
I did hear about. I never saw the. Oh yeah, I did see the footage of it too.
The
yeah.
spotters caught it.
They did. Yeah,
And
it was
like
weird
900 pounds,
Yeah.
and I was like, was watching when it happened, and I was like, whoa!
Yeah.
And like the middle back spotter had it like in
Yeah, I
his
saw
arms
he
crossed.
caught it in there.
Yeah, and they caught it, and it didn't. I don't think anyone got hurt, other than
And,
probably
like,
it didn't feel
the trust
good.
you have to have in all the other spots, because if you're the middle spotter and you do this, you just think your arms aren't going to get ripped off and you'll never see them again.
With 900
Or like
pounds.
both biceps will just blow out in the
Yeah,
process.
yeah, you all have to be trusting each other then. But Marcos, he would come in and talk between squat and bench, and between bench and deadlift. They'd interview him a little bit, the meet director, and he said that after that happened, he went back and told him, you don't bail from a squat here. You stay with it,
yeah.
and you don't do that to our spotters again, and kind of basically told him, like, you're not going to be welcome back here if you don't do that. And he said there was just probably some miscommunication, and like, but he made it sound like he went back and it was very clear to him that don't do that
anymore.
again. Yeah. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah. But if you do have like a spotting team that knows what they're doing, if they're on it right away, did they have 5 guys, 2 on each end and
I
one
think
behind?
so. Yeah.
Like 5 guys can take a lot of weight
Yeah,
off your back. So assuming it's not absolute worst case scenario,
Yeah.
like you can
better
get saved in a hurry.
Right. And those I would say that spotting team is like as good as they come.
They're not like just your random guys
No.
that you picked off the street and
Right.
those guys could move some weight.
Yeah. That was kind of the squat. Like, so Odell was leading going into it. Brandon was second. Eric was third.
And then outside of that, just squats ranged from 903 to 9.
Sean Doyle didn't take his third. He squatted 948 on his second, and you could tell. I haven't heard him say anything, but on his second, he hurt his hamstring. He finished the lift, but you could walking away like he had a bad limp and was grabbing his leg, and that was a recurring theme for him for the rest of the evening, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Then we jumped into bench, and the highlights from that, Peter Petrus opened at 595, which was well above everyone else's openers, and
That's well above almost everyone else's final number.
And Eric Lillibridge was the second man to come out on bench, and I just, obviously he's not known as an excellent bencher, but that just really highlighted
Puts
it to
it
me
into
where,
perspective.
where he gives up
some.
he gives up some real weight on the bench press.
Yes, he does. Because when you look at it, so his final bench, I don't know what attempt it was on, but he ended with 529. And
I don't know if that was a second or third, but
outside of, that's as far as bench goes, second to last.
Right.
Last place was 507, where most guys are
550
to almost 600.
Yep.
So yeah, that is, when you're making a run at these things, that is where he's giving up the most weight for sure.
So that highlights to me how important it is that he missed him missing that 50 extra pounds on the squat really hurts, because he gives it back up in the bench really fast.
Yep.
Otherwise, Petrus finished with 617. I think, can't remember if that was a second or third, but he is just massive on the bench press. Like, it literally, like, he looks huge. It's like Kirill Serchev when he's on there, it's just like,
it looks like he's pushing a toy around.
He's just so
like
big.
Fake weights.
Brandon Allen, I think, didn't bench as good as he was hoping to. He missed his second and came back and took that 567 and got it on his third. I don't know what, it must have been a technical miss there. But going into the the subtotals, I think Odell was in first at that point, and I think Petrus was maybe in second and Brandon Allen in third. Is the way that the going into the deadlift where they're at, and then Lillibridge was, I think, in fourth, and Doyle in fifth. So the deadlift, the number one takeaway from that is, a lot of these guys, they're enormous squatters and good benchers, and I would say they're
all
good
deadlifters.
Yeah, they're good deadlifters, but it's like when it comes to that third, by the time that third one comes around, a lot of them have a hard time hanging on to it. Many of them had chewed up their hands by their second attempt, that they were walking away with like, they could tell, and the announcer kept saying that there's a lot of meat on that bar and a lot of meat on the ground from it. But third attempts, Sean Doyle was the only one out of all of them to successfully hit a third attempt deadlift.
Which is surprising a little
Right.
bit.
And that was because the way his had worked out, I think he needed only like 5 more kilos after a second to move up a place to lock himself into 5th place instead of 6th. But in order to move up into 4th place, he had to do like 25 or 30 more kilos, so it would have been an enormous jump.
Which is a big stretch, probably. At that
Right.
point.
So he just took the money, like literally, because it was probably like a couple $1,000s difference, and took that 5 kilo jump and hit it.
Which totally makes sense in a meet like this.
Brandon Allen, when he was up, he had the chance, if he would have hit that third attempt, which was like an 898 or 899, whatever it comes out to.
Yeah,
it would have been good enough to get him first place. He was in third, but if he would have got that, he would have moved all the way into first place. And as the way it turned out, he would have stayed, and it would have been enough to get him first place.
Mm-hmm.
He had it about 2/3 of the way up, 3/4 of the way up.
Really fast to his knees, like to the point it looked like, wow, this guy's gonna pull 1,000 pounds, and then it just hit a wall.
Yeah,
and
and then
slowed down in a hurry.
Nothing left there. He was obviously pretty disappointed about that. I think because that makes, at the U.S. Open, he had it where he pulled the deadlift and basically locked it out and just couldn't quite hold it and missed the money there. So what's interesting to me that he did that is he could have taken, I don't know what the difference was, if it was maybe 5 or 10 kilos less. He could have
gotten
second place.
Yep. But you never know how it's.
Right.
Well, I guess I don't know what the order was, but yeah, you never know.
Yeah, I
Are
think
you
there
just
was
gonna
still a
assume
chance.
everyone's gonna miss?
Right.
Like,
But
that's
I
one of
don't
the things that's tough with that.
Right, but he said he was there to win, so he was going for the win. But
Yeah.
it cost him, I think, like $6,000
Yep.
of getting third instead of second. Not saying that he would have gotten the attempt had he gone for it at second, but the way he did attempt looked, it seems like there's a good chance he could have hit it.
Yeah, something a little less would have been there probably.
And I think that's a really interesting dynamic when you're making attempt selections, not just based on the numbers, but you're like, how much money I could, like, whether I get this or don't could be a difference in $5,000 to $10,000 today.
Yeah. Oh, it adds a whole other element of strategy to this.
Yeah, because
when you're not even concerned about PRs anymore,
like,
you're
money.
literally concerned about actual money.
Right, and then it comes down to like how you actually feel about money, because you're like, well,
How much do I value? Which in the case of this, like, I would be going for. There's enough meets throughout the year where you can be like focused on PRs and stuff. Like, it seems like if you're going to be going for the money, this or the U.S. Open is the time to do it.
Right, but he was really going for the money. He said, I want all, I want the $22,000.
Well, and I do think it. I mean, to say you won big dogs is a pretty big
Yes,
achievement too.
right.
Because Milanichev's the only person to ever win big dogs.
Yeah,
Right.
Milanichev has won both, and I think Doyle's gotten second both times. So, so the final standings is Petrus ended up sneaking out past Odell. I think Odell ripped up his hand and couldn't take a third deadlift, so he didn't even get to have a chance to.
So Petrus with a 24.69 total, Odell in second with 24.58, and then third was Brandon Allen was 24.30.
Yep. And Brandon had never broken 2,400 before, so that was a PR. And Petrus is a PR. I think no one other than Milanichev has a higher total all time than him now. That's the second highest total all time.
24.69 is.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. Well, it's the second highest per. I think
the one that's not Milanichev.
Yeah. Yes. If that's.
Yeah.
If you'd consider that the second highest total all time or not, I guess you would in the record books. I think, Petrus would be second, and then Odell's probably tied with those other guys now. Then,
yeah, he's right there. Yeah, that 24. That's a big total.
Yeah, and Lillerbridge fourth, Sean Doyle fifth, and then that Dylan Hellriegel was an Australian guy. He's only 23 years old. He pulled a big deadlift, had a big squat, ended up with 23.42. He seems like he could really be someone to watch, I would say.
You would assume at 23 years old, that there's a future there for sure.
Yeah.
To me, looking at it, kind of the surprising thing though is not even an 880 deadlift. The biggest deadlift of the day was 876.
And that was that Hellriegel who was out of the running base, at that point, out of the chance of even a podium. They all missed their third. They all attempted closer to that 880, 900 range, but they all missed it. Eric had a chance at something like that, and he missed it. Eric did pull for 900 on his last one, and he would have been the first person to squat over 1,000 and deadlift over 900.
Okay.
We talked about that, and
Yep.
he would have been the first person ever to do that in a competition. But I think that apparently we did mention that must just be really, really, really tough, like on a person's body to.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Well, then how many people are actually capable of those two numbers?
Right.
Is
You're
there
talking
10
about
people
baby
total?
tops, yeah.
Yeah,
on their
probably
best
probably
days.
closer to 5 that could ever have a hope
Right.
of doing it right now.
Yeah, there's probably 1, 2, 3, maybe four or five guys here, and then maybe 5 more guys that weren't here that are in that ballpark.
Yeah, that's big numbers.
Yeah. Someone said talking about one of the big dogs not doing well. I heard someone say it that even a big dog can still get run over by a car.
Yeah, it's true.
That is true.
So where were we at on the we had the over under on 3 being the number of people that would not finish the meet. So Milanichev was out.
Yeah,
was
that
this
Shannon
Florison? Did he not?
I
mean,
don't
he
know what
did-
the story was. So
he
I'd
benched
say
only for some
we'll
reason.
call him another one that was out, and then I don't know if there was another person that dropped out or not. So we were either at the number or under.
Okay.
So
Oh, was
Sean Doyle was hurt definitely, but he finished out and
Yeah.
still put up a big
very,
number.
Very, very respectable total.
Yeah. So we were real close on that. Our predictions of winners, you had taken Milanichev, Lillibridge, Petrus.
Is that what I said?
I think so.
I couldn't remember if I had Petrus or Allen in third.
I think you said Petrus.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I said Lillibridge, Milanichev, Brandon Allen. So we each got one of the podium
Yeah.
persons right. Is that I guess Milanichev not being there is kind of makes that tricky because anyone
Yeah.
would pick him, I think.
And the fact that I've never seen Odell ever also makes it tricky to
Yeah.
properly guess that. But I looked at his meet history quick, and I mean, he has continued for 10 years straight. He's basically improved every single year. And I mean, he's 39 years old now,
Yeah.
so he's not some young pup either, you know.
Right.
So that's pretty impressive to see that too.
Marcos, who I said he talked in between them quite often, and I guess I wasn't even positive what he looked like, but he's certainly not afraid to just call out whoever
I'd
wants
read
to.
some that
Yeah.
he was kind of throwing out some comments about people that aren't coming and aren't competing in
Yeah,
this.
and one that I'm pretty sure he wouldn't name the name, but he was saying there's one American that he's not. He kind of was saying that he's chicken shit to come and compete against real people, talking about his meet history, that he's never actually competed against anyone. And I had to look, and who he's talking about, I'm pretty sure, is James Searcy.
I did see this actually.
Because he never mentioned his name, but because he said that he's actually the record holder in one of the disciplines. And
Oh, really?
Saying and he is in the 308 squat. He's done like a 1058 squat, I think is what it is. Is that?
Yeah, 10:58.
Yeah, so that's who he's talking about. And he said he's only done 5 meets and he's never competed against any real competition, is what he said. But I don't know what the history is there. But he must not be a fan of him, I guess.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. I mean, he's not very old either.
He's only 27,
27-ish. Yeah. Biggest total 2364.
Yeah.
Seems like a really good guy to be there lifting at this thing.
Right. One other thing is that Marcos was wearing like a purse.
Okay.
And I'm not like a.
Was it a purse or was it one of the stylish fanny packs that people wear now?
It wasn't a fanny pack. It went.
Well, people wear fanny packs over their crossbody now. You got to keep up with your trends, Tanner.
It didn't look like a fanny pack to me.
Here. I'll
Well, you'll have to show me a picture and we'll see.
I'll do some Googling here quick for you.
Whatever it was, to me it looked like a purse, and obviously I'm not up on my fashion.
I mean, did it resemble anything like this at all?
It went kitty corner
It was
across his
crossbody.
body.
Okay. Well, people do that too, though.
Yeah.
Here. One more quick picture.
Yeah, well, let's see another one and see if it's see those look like fanny packs to me. Yeah. But it was like leather too.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be wearing a cheap, stupid one. Was it kind of along the lines of something like that?
No, it still looked more pursy. It was square.
So more like that?
Yeah, but it was like brown leather with leather straps.
Okay.
See, these kind of still look a little bit like fanny packs.
Yeah.
Like almost like like small bags that you wear. And
Yeah.
his looked like, I'd say if anything, it looked maybe a little bit more like some Indiana Jones
satchel or something?
Yeah, like more like a satchel maybe. But to me, it was a man purse.
And he was running around with this on?
Yeah, and
you thought there was some Australian thing?
Well, and I'm not like Australian, and maybe that's the cultural thing there, but that to me, I would not be wearing that, and I do not care for that.
Well, it's kind of the in thing now, Tanner, the old crossbody fanny pack. And just think about all the extra stuff you can carry on you now.
That's true, and he was like reaching in his phone out of there all the time, and
be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
that is not a sacrifice or
that you're ready to go for yet?
No, I don't think I could do it.
Introduce that into the office fashion. Do we want to move into our stat of the week?
Ooh, we should if I can pull that up here. Our open powerlifting stat of the week, you say?
Well, if you have other ones too, I'm open to hearing those.
Oh, our powerlifting watch hasn't been getting us our stats of the week like they had said that they
not
would.
like our good friends over at Open Powerlifting.
No, powerlifting watch. I think that guy's probably still in trouble for whatever the diddling situation was. Okay. So the open powerlifting stat of the week on the Massenomics podcast, the world's strongest podcast. We're looking at the men's all-time raw deadlift strength range. So I think this is all men across all classes, and we're seeing under 400, 400 to 500, 500 to 600. What percentage of people lie in those ranges in all deadlifts? So under 400 is 25% of the male lifters.
Okay.
400 to 500 is our biggest one at 30.7%. That's the most that fall in that range.
Said 400 to 500?
Yep. Or 400 to 499.
Oh, yeah.
And then 500 to 599 is 29.8%. And then there's a pretty good drop off when you go 600 to 699 is 11.9%. Huge drop off when you go 700 to 799 is 2.3%.
Ooh.
Yeah. 800 to 899 is 0.3%. 900 to 999 is 0.02%, and 1,000 plus is Benedict Magnuson.
Wow.
I always like when those end with just a person's name at the end.
Yeah, that's cool. So Tanner, you by gym lifts are in the the 2%?
The 2.3,
2.31. Do you feel pretty elite right now?
Not really. No. It's weird how that works when you look at it on a stat like that. It's like, well, that's pretty good, I guess, in comparison to the masses. But we always say it how by watching people on the internet, how you get completely like.
Well, the funny thing is, like
700
700 plus makes up 2% of all deadlifts performed, but on Instagram it makes up 90% of all videos recorded.
And the thing is, that's 700 to 799.
Yeah.
So I'm in the same group that's like 799 is a lot more than the 700 even that I did.
Yeah.
You know, like.
But you would never know if you just gave someone a phone and said, watch people lift weights.
Right.
And then like said, from your takeaway,
how strong are people?
What silos do these people fall into? You would never in a million years guess that 7 to 799 is 2%.
You'd be like, well, I'd guess the vast majority of people are under 499.
Well, yeah, if you've been training for 3 years, you should be able to pull 700 by now, I think.
And it's like, no, it still doesn't work like that. Because even 600 to 699, which it seems like you're always seeing people pull over 600, is just 11.9%.
Yeah, that's not many.
Actually, over 600 is just is under 15% of people. It's like 14% of people. Mm-hmm. And that's just still not that much. Under 599 is 3/4 of everyone. That's
which I mean does kind of make sense actually.
Yeah. But it is just from watching all the freak shows that you start to forget that. So that is nice to see that sometimes and be able to put into perspective where you really do fall.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not so bad.
Check.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not so bad. It makes me feel a little better about what
Which
I
seems
just
to be
saw
what
Larry
these
Wheels
stats
do.
kind of are, is the reality check.
Yeah.
Your weekly reality check.
Yep. So that is the open powerlifting stat of the week on the Massenomics podcast.
And thank you to Open Powerlifting for that. You can, we've already been using the site extensively on this episode to keep track of things.
We use it almost every episode.
We kind of do, actually, because results don't get posted anywhere else.
No.
So you have to use them, which is great. Which is great.
The powerlifting watch guy isn't getting us the results either.
Just not doing it.
No. What about they've got their Patreon?
Yeah, and if you want to support them, you can send them a DM on Instagram, hop on the website. I'm sure you can get in touch with them there too. Instagram would be the easiest way, but you can help out with a whole list of things that I'm sure they could put you to work on. If you want to support them, you can also become a member of their Patreon, kick in some money, or you can buy a T-shirt and show your open powerlifting pride to the world. And Tanner, how are we coming in that?
I haven't done it yet. I've still kind of got my fingers crossed that
you're pretty busy at work though. So
well, that's true. I still kind of got my fingers crossed that somebody's gonna buy one and send me one. And, okay, we heard that you really want one of these, but are too cheap to buy one. Maybe a Christmas present from
that. I think that'd be a pretty good Christmas present.
I would be.
I think most people that are into powerlifting, if they got an open powerlifting T-shirt, would be pretty happy about that.
For sure. We do a Christmas list.
We do. That would be a good one.
I think an open powerlifting shirt might have to make the list.
I think that'd be a good item to have on the list.
Yeah, because we like to get a variety of price range items. That'll be good for that $20, $25 range.
That could be a really nice stocking stuffer or just a great overall gift.
Yeah.
It works in a lot of situations.
Yeah, that's true. And you could even if you do like what's it called, where it's like white elephant or something like that.
Oh yeah,
that could be one of the really good. A lot of them are shitty, and then some are good, and that could be the one that people are like fighting over.
Well, or it'd be the family that no one knows what it is, so you just got an awesome gift for yourself. That works too, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Is that a rule that you can't take your own stuff for white elephant?
Are they anonymously given? Like maybe you would. I know that on The Office, Kevin, I think, ended up with his. Oh no, that was for Secret Santa. He drew his own name and he never told anyone.
Okay.
So he had gotten himself a foot bath because he really wanted a foot bath. And then Michael switched it to a white elephant after everyone had gotten specific gifts for.
Okay. I just know a few years ago, I haven't done a whole lot of white elephant gift, whatever you call it. But a few years ago, we did one for our family, and Ryan bought like The Conjuring, just the worst, most intense horror Blu-rays that you could ever get. And one, it's a Blu-ray, and not a lot of people have Blu-ray players. And then it's a family Christmas, and he got seriously the some of the scarier horror movies you get. So everyone's like, no, I don't want these, and he's like, perfect, I wanted them for myself anyways. So I didn't know if he was breaking the rules when he did that, or if that's how it can go. But
is that the old switcheroo?
I think so, yeah. The old switcheroo.
So that's that.
Should we jump into one more meet recap while we're at it?
We better. There was another pretty big meet going on.
And that was USAPL Nationals.
Yeah. USAPL Nationals is a little harder to track than something like Big Dogs just because there's so much going on for so long.
Yeah, what was it, 5 days?
I think so.
I can't even keep track of how many days it is because there's so much lifting.
Right. There was a lot of cool things that came out of there, though.
There were. It is a little tougher to track them all down and keep up with everything. I think the big one, and I know for me, the one I was most excited about is what's Ray going to do?
Yeah,
what's Ray going to do?
That's what it's always.
I know going into it, I had seen some discussion that I think it's Ray's full-time job is he's a coach for a
college.
For a college football team. And so I had read some things that going into it, this isn't going to be his prime meet because he has a football game Saturday, I think. And then Saturday night he has to, or was it Sunday night? Sunday night he has to lift. And so it just puts him in a real time crunch. And I don't even know if training is optimal for him this time of year either. Mm-hmm. So I had heard some things that, maybe don't expect his best performance.
Yep.
And it wasn't his best performance. The thing is Ray not having his best performance can still win by almost 160 kilos. So
yeah,
even on his not best day, he's winning by over 300 pounds. So
right.
He ended with kilos. Come on.
2364 or something. I just was
okay. So his total was 2364.
Yeah.
The surprise, probably the biggest surprise with him was on his first squat. I don't know if he's ever done this. He squatted just fine, got to the top, and at the top he kind of lost his balance and took a step back, and so obviously not a good squat. I'm sure he's never done that before.
No.
You know, like that seems to be his thing. Is he seems really comfortable, like walking the weight out
Right.
and hanging on to it and everything.
I guess even a big dog can still get run over by a car.
I've heard that before. But he went on to bench 240. So what's that? 240, 480.
530.
Yeah, about 530. And then he deadlifted a little over 800.
Yeah.
Like 820-ish, I
Yeah,
think.
something like that.
So, I mean, overall, still a really solid day.
Right. Joseph Pena got third, actually.
Yeah, Joseph Pena, and I'd never heard of this guy, Jason Mike, I believe.
Yeah.
They both had a total of 917.5 kilos. That's probably right around 2,000-ish pounds.
Yeah.
But this Jason Mike won based on body weight, which, you know, kind of how that goes in these big meets like that.
Yep.
Other notable performances.
264, is it safe to say we don't know anyone?
Yeah, so looking at that, when
not
Dennis
Dennis
Cornelius is
Cornelius.
not in the game, I don't know who these people are, and they
Yeah.
have very respectable like this
Oh, yeah.
Matt, I don't know, Matt Summer or however you say his last
Yeah.
name, a 910 total. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's an awesome performance.
No, it's
but
obviously a bunch of good lifters. We just don't follow it closely enough to know.
Jared Martin, Anthony Harris, Nathan Alexander, never heard of any of them.
Yeah,
So-
until now.
So I have nothing to add to it. Maybe ones that we have heard of. Bonica Brown
Oh, yeah, friend of the podcast.
continues her dominating performance in the 84 plus with a 662 total, beating the next closest lady by about 70 kilos.
Yeah, and what
So-
what did she squat? 265 kilos?
265.
So that's 585, 584,
And the interesting thing is
585.
her deadlift was 250, and actually the lady that got second, Sarah Brenner, did 250.5 for the
Oh.
American record. So they
Yeah.
must have been chipping each other there
Yep,
to go at that.
yep,
So, I mean, that lady can hang. She's right there with the deadlift, but
yeah,
outside of that, like, Bonica just has the whole package when it comes to that stuff.
yeah. What other? I don't know if you got them on there, but I'd say a really big thing that came out is Jen Thompson, friend of the Massenomics podcast,
she
did not win.
so she was going for her 10th straight. Was it her 10th straight?
Yeah, I think so.
American title.
Yeah,
And
the 10th or 11th, either she'd
I
won
think
10
I
straight
think it
or-
was the 10th one she was
Okay.
going for here. Ties, but loses based on body weight, right?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know the girl's name? That
I'd never heard of her. It is here. I'll find it right now.
So they had the same exact total then. She still did break a. Did she set a world record on the bench press? She kind of sets a world record on the bench
Yeah, I
press.
think
every
I think she chipped it again on her second one, I believe.
time. Okay.
And then I think on the third she went for a little more and ended up finally missing on her third, which is probably one of the first times she's missed a bench press in a
Okay,
really long
yeah.
time. And that kind of is what turned into the deciding factor on it. But
Yeah.
I can't find it on here
Okay.
because again, this stuff is harder to find than it
yeah.
should be. But
Danielle Mello won again.
so that one was
back to
actually a
back.
really interesting one because this Amanda Lawrence, had you been seeing much of her? So she's putting
set-
up like stupid numbers, and she set
two
the-
American records.
Yeah, she set the squat and the deadlift American record, but still managed to lose.
Because she's given up almost 70 pounds on a bench press from.
Yeah. So
Mello.
yeah, so these girls like Daniela Mello, she had a 227 squat, and Amanda Lawrence had a 238. So what's that, like a little over 500?
Yeah.
Right around 500.
Yeah.
Which is insane. Like
Yeah,
that's
like a 515 maybe or
so
something even.
much for like, and I think they're both juniors too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was like a 515 squat or something
Yeah,
like
and
that
they're
for her.
both women juniors.
Yeah.
Like that's just hard to
They
comprehend.
broke all the records.
Yeah, yeah. and
between
then-
the two
and
of
then,
them.
Yeah, Mello takes the bench at 136, and that's where Amanda Lawrence is losing her ground here. Is Mello had 136, and Lawrence finished with a 107.5. So yeah, giving up a lot of weight there. But then on deadlift, Lawrence takes her again with 245. Mello 238. Final total, Mello ends up winning by 10 kilos. And well, I would say judging by Amanda Lawrence's progress, like that could be really close next year. But also Mello's progress
Yeah,
doesn't slow
right,
either. So
right.
I have no idea how that one will go.
That's a 1326 total too. Like
Yeah, on
that's,
an 84 kilo woman. So
Yeah.
what's that? 170.
yeah. It's 185, I guess.
Okay,
oh yeah, 'cause
185.
yeah, yeah,
Still though.
yeah.
That's really, really impressive. I have a hard time like wrapping my head around that. How
Right.
strong like they're stronger than most guys that you know.
Yeah, and it is drug tested federation.
Yeah.
If not the, at the least, it's drug tested. So
Yep. But yeah, I mean, think of most people that you know that go to a gym, like especially if they don't go to a powerlifting gym, these girls are probably stronger than them. And if they do go to a powerlifting gym, these girls are still probably stronger than them.
So,
Like,
sometimes I think maybe some women take it insulting if we say something
Well,
like
and-
that.
and I do
compared to,
not mean
like,
it that way.
there's-
I just mean it like
no,
most guys
right.
typically lift with like what at our gym. What's there, 36 guys and 2 women?
Right,
So I just
right.
don't see enough women lifting to really
Exactly.
comprehend it. Like
and we don't mean that as a.
Yeah, no,
It's literally like
It's just relating it to like what I know, which
Right.
is other guys lifting.
exactly, and which it's better than most of the
But
other
yeah,
guys.
I think it's awesome to see that.
Yeah.
Like,
Marissa Inda won again. Heather Connor won again.
yep.
I think
Which
she's
they're
the-
going on quite a few years.
Yeah.
Of
Seems
wins
like the
now.
women just really dominate the the women that win their classes just dominate their classes kind of.
They do.
It-
Yeah.
Taylor Atwood, I think he won his class.
Yep,
I think
and
he
I
put up big
think-
numbers.
I'm off by like one placing here possibly, but at the 73 men, his total would have got him either second or third in the class above even.
In the
In
Russell
the 83,
Ortiz
yeah, he would. I
class.
think he would have. I think it said he would have placed second with his total in the 83. Like he's that
Yeah.
dominant. So
and
that's
the
another one.
class above is a good
Oh
class.
yeah, that class
That's-
is that class is
that's,
stacked too.
Or he got first, and Sean Noriega got second. Like, and they're
Yep.
all very competitive in that class. What's funny is John Hack apparently throws smoke at those guys, and like I see he's always throwing in comments like,
and I can't tell if it's like because they're like, oh yeah, you're kind of like the OG here, like,
Yeah.
and so we'll let you get away with it.
yeah,
or-
no, I don't. I've seen Russell like talk trash back.
Oh,
like
do
I don't
they?
think they're buddies.
Okay, see, I couldn't tell for sure what.
Because there was a post on either 9 for 9 or USAPL, or both of them posted it, where it was Sean Noriega and Russell Orhe, and like the battle of the 83s. This was prior to the meet, and like who's gonna win. And the number one comment on there, it had like 300 likes, was John Hack, and he goes, "Remember that time?" I wish I could read it in quotes, but it was the Adam Sandler quote from the where Adam Sandler comes at halftime of the Mud Dog Bowl or whatever, and like they're doing a halftime speech, and he's like, "Remember that time the Water Boy showed up at halftime, and the Mud Dogs won the Super Bowl or the national championship or whatever it is?" It was like, "Remember that time John Hack showed up at USAPL Nationals and took the Mud Dogs to first of the 83 kilo?" And it. The way he worded it was really funny, but they kind of went back and forth on that a little bit too.
It'd be awesome to see him come back.
I would love to see him
Yeah.
come back, and he's got. And then I see today he posted all these USAPL national things, got me all excited, and he was in there deadlifting heavy. I'd like him to see. I'd like to see him come back. And,
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
yeah,
But at the same time, I can't blame him for wanting to win lots of money either.
right. I would probably want to win lots of money if that was
Try to squeak some type of income out of
Yeah.
the sport that doesn't get you anything.
right. Is that's most of the
yeah, other
highlighted
lift
winners?
the 105 class for men, Eli Burks and Garrett Blevins.
What about Bryce Lewis?
Bryce Lewis took like kind of a me year, a personal time year to just kind of like chill and do his own thing, I guess.
So he's not lifting at
he is not.
Worlds?
He will not be doing. So he didn't do nationals, so he's not doing worlds. And he has. I mean, he has like so many posts about like sports psychology and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
I guess he just felt like he needed a little break.
Garrett
so,
Blevins didn't win that.
So he was. So he was not there. So Eli Burks and Garrett Blevins tied 870 total. Eli Burks won on body weight.
But like last year, Garrett Blevins still got to go to
Yeah, because I
Worlds.
think don't they take like an alternate or a backup always? Like I think everyone gets like 2 nominations or something like
Okay.
that. So
So he might be in the running.
I
for
would
that,
imagine
still
they
go to the
both
World.
probably get to go.
Yeah.
Other big names there. This Joseph Amendola in that class.
Danny's brother.
He had a 550 bench.
Jesus.
That's a really.
He's crushing the competition in that.
That's the next closest bench is Garrett Blevins, who I believe used to have the American record.
Yeah, I think they battled at each other, like
And-
chipped each other back and forth.
Yeah,
on
and
that.
Garrett Blevins on this. I don't know what the record actually was, but Garrett Blevins on this day benched 222. So, what's that like 460, 470?
Yeah, or 4 or 8. Is it more? Yeah.
somewhere around there.
480, isn't it?
Yeah, somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I mean, this guy's showing up with
550.
like almost 550 here.
Yeah.
Like it's
Dang.
it might be 5. What's 24? What's
246. We can do the
We'll
math.
we'll get the exact number.
That
here
one's
for
high
you.
enough that it's worth figuring out, especially in the 105 class, right?
Yeah.
246. 542.
542.
That's got to be getting up there with benches for all classes in USAPL.
You would
know,
assume.
I
Does
know
anyone,
Dennis Cornelius is like
yeah,
575,
there's the
80,
one
if I
guy. I can't think. We saw him at the cage. Doesn't he bench like a little over 600?
oh yeah,
I cannot think. This is
big black guy.
yeah. He's like
How'd
athletic.
you describe him? Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
Yeah.
think of what his name is, but
Oh, is it athletics over?
yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I think he does a little over 600, doesn't he?
Yeah, because he called out on we had the our segment that we do on Instagram on Wednesday.
Oh, Lifting
Legends. He called out it was Jimmy Williams. He is the guy that
Was he the guy with the plaid shirt on or whatever?
No, that was a different guy. This was the guy that could dunk at
Oh,
340
yeah,
pounds,
yeah,
and he
yeah,
could bench
yep.
like first to bench like 675 or 700 or whatever it was. And he kind of called him out on the dunking thing because that guy is big in like doing athletic stuff.
He can
and
do like he can dunk. I think too. Can't he?
yeah, and that's what pretty crazy dunks. And he commented on there like, well, my stuff's all documented, and you know,
which he does have a point.
Yeah,
he does have like
yeah.
he's not wrong.
No, not at all. I just thought it was interesting, and I hadn't really followed him before, but I did a little looking at him, and he's kind of a freak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't imagine there's. He has to be probably the only guy that can bench 600 plus and dunk. I mean that's not just like 6'10", you know.
Yeah, I wonder if Kirill Serchev could dunk.
I mean he probably could.
But
he's what 6'8",
7,
6'9",
yeah.
whatever he is.
You would think he could.
So yeah, he doesn't have to put up much of a vertical to do that.
No.
And I'm sure I can only imagine what a basketball looks like in Serchev's head. Like it
Yeah.
has to look like
Nothing.
oh yeah, like a tiny little just like child's
Right.
toy ball.
Right.
Outside of that though, I think we kind of covered the biggest, the best of the best when it comes to USAPL Nash. We saved you 5 days of watching with our expert coverage right now.
Right.
Yeah. Do you want to move on, Tanner? Is there
Yeah, we
anything
could.
else you want to talk about USAPLs? Do we got you? Do we got you
No.
satisfied?
I think that's it. That's the meat. The meat,
All right.
and nothing but the meat.
So it's getting down there on time, which means
we got a couple.
means
Yeah.
we need to talk about big lifts
Some of
this
our
week.
favorite segments, fastest growing segment on in the podcast world. I think right now, big lifts.
Should we say? We'll save a certain one for last.
Yeah.
This Massenomics friend,
Yeah.
Chris Wiest, unleashed the Wiest, 855 for 2 on deadlift.
Yep.
That's a good performance right there.
That is very impressive.
I don't even know what else to really add to that.
No.
But it was kind of interesting the way he did it because he said that he likes to throw in a little bit of trash talking. Or I don't know, did he say trash talking?
Yeah,
or
maybe something like
he got at the top of the second one. He called out Larry
Forsaken
Wheels,
Warrior.
Forsaken Warrior. Was there anyone else?
Those are the big two that I was
The big
thinking
two.
of.
And I think he said just kind of getting everyone going, seeing what happens.
Yep.
And coincidentally or not, Larry Wheels comes out with he does
his
the
response.
same.
Larry Wheels, of course, hitting us, getting back into big lifts again.
Yeah. So
Larry was
Wheels-
really worried about not being in big lifts
Yeah,
for
so
a week.
for his first appearance in big lifts this week, he does 855 for 3 on the deadlift, which I don't know. Has that been done more than
Ooh,
a handful of times ever?
I bet there's a really short list of people that have done that.
And I mean, that was no straps or anything, was it?
Does
Larry
not
ever use
sure.
straps?
I don't know.
I don't know if I've ever seen Larry use
And
straps. now that I think about it.
he looked like he was maybe going to do a fourth one. You could tell he was
I kind of
loaded
thought about
for
it for a second.
for
yeah,
a fourth one, but I think he maybe could have done a fourth one, but it just would have not. It would have set him back a month probably.
So
Like
that would have been soul crushing on that one.
yeah.
Yeah, so Larry responds with the big deadlift. It'd be interesting to see if these guys keep kind of pushing that a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch that go down.
Yeah. I can't remember Chris Weist's second rep if it was a touch and go or if he reset.
I don't
But
remember
you know,
if
Larry's were very touch and
Yeah.
go. You know,
Which I think they always are for him. Aren't
yeah,
they?
I think so too. So it's basically cheating. Like
I mean, it really doesn't even count
No.
for one even at that point.
yeah, that's
So,
garbage. That's
Just ignore everything we just
Bush
said
League,
about him. It
yeah.
doesn't count.
what else?
Joe Sullivan benched 555 for one.
Competition style benching. Joe's been a reoccurring theme kind of in big lifts right
too.
now
It's
too.
Like, does he have a meet coming up pretty soon? Because
I
his
don't know when
numbers-
he's competing, but he must because he's doing a lot of singles.
Like, I want to see what his total is going to be at a meet
Yeah.
because it just seems like everything's moving in the direction it should be for him.
Right.
Next we have a newcomer
Yeah.
to big lifts.
Never been in big lifts before.
This is kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Brad Night Moves Neitzel.
The old night moves. They don't call them night moves for no reason, ladies.
They do not.
Brad's been on the Massenomics podcast before
Multiple
too.
times.
Yeah.
He's competed in the Massenomics Strongman Showdown
This year,
as well.
2018, yeah.
We didn't let him deadlift in it because
No.
we didn't want him to make us all look stupid.
Because we didn't have anyone to match up against
Yeah,
him, really,
yeah.
is the real reason why.
Yep. But he deadlifted 800 for a double.
Yep.
And Brad's been getting really strong lately.
Yes.
I think he's trying to make a run at Strongman Nationals here.
Strongman Nationals and hopefully qualify, I believe, for the Arnold Strongman Classic Amateur, which just by looking at him, it looks like he's got. Not like
the
we know
pieces-
every amateur
Yeah,
out there,
but the pieces they're coming into place for him, I'd say.
his deadlift is salty. I know, like as far as amateurs, like an 800 by 2 deadlift is no joke. We're talking about Larry Wheels doing 855 by 3 and Chris Weiss doing 855 by 2. I mean, granted, that's 800 to 855 is there's still a difference there, but he's getting.
Yeah, it's moving. It's going.
Yeah.
It's going in the right direction. for him.
Yeah, and I know he struggled in the past with maybe pressing, but that seems to really be coming along. So I would look for him to do some noise at.
Yeah, I'm also excited to see where he's
yeah,
going to be at
I hope-
6 months from now.
Right, I just hope he stays, injury free.
Healthy is the big one here.
Yep,
So Brad, just keep eating and sleeping.
yep, and keep doing your night moves thing.
Keep those night moves up. And then in true big lifts fashion, we can't talk about Larry just once, but
Has to be
twice.
big lifts twice this week.
And 855 times 3 is pretty ridiculous.
Not a bad week.
Yeah, but why not follow it up with benching 405 times 25?
Which is just ridiculous.
Yeah, didn't he? Okay, where was it? Was it 225 the other
For
week?
70.
For 70. Okay,
I don't know what his 315 record is, but
Yeah,
I suppose
well,
it's about 40.
I would assume
Yeah.
that's the one he's got to do next because
Yeah.
he's done 2 plates and 4 plates. So why wouldn't you just get a 3-plate
Yeah,
AMRAP?
and I know he's hammered out 500 for several, kind of done an AMRAP at around that 500 range. So, yeah, what's the over under on his 315 reps?
Okay,
He did 70 at 225,
Yep.
25 at 405.
And it's not going to scale completely
Yeah,
evenly.
yeah.
So
Because there's a 45 rep difference in there, so that'd be
Yeah.
22, 23 more than. So that'd be if it was
So if we
landed
split the
exactly in the middle, he'd be at like 47. I don't think I don't think he can do
I'm
47.
thinking about 40
Yeah.
is probably a pretty good line there.
40 reps at.
So
3
he would do
plates.
like 42, I think.
Yeah. We'll see next week on Big
Yeah,
Lifts.
I'm sure next week he'll do it. So we want
But how can you do that? Like every day, every week.
and just not feel like you're dying.
I don't understand.
Like, yeah, how do your shoulders not just feel like they're never going to work again after that?
I don't understand.
And the whatever lifts he's done for the 10 previous weeks going into that, you know?
Yeah.
Also makes you wonder, like, if Larry didn't do some type of max out every week, like, would he be that much stronger right now even?
But, yeah.
You would think,
if
but
he
also
wa-
at the
yeah.
same time, it just seems like rules don't apply to him. So.
No, it does not seem to apply to him. It doesn't matter. That's why they call him Larry Wheels.
Just keep doing your thing, Larry. I like it.
Yeah. What do we have? The second fastest growing segment in
The second most fan-loved segment of the podcast.
we got best Instagram/YouTube comment of the week. This week we're going to go to YouTube. I think we went to Instagram last week.
Yep.
We're going to switch back over to YouTube.
All right. That kind of prepares me for what the thought of mine, the state of mind I need to get in for a YouTube comment.
Some of the best comments come from YouTube.
Oh, absolutely.
There,
yeah.
you get some way more off the wall shit on YouTube
Yeah.
than Instagram. You get some kind of dumb ones on Instagram, but on YouTube, anything's possible.
Anything goes. Yeah, like. I mean, yeah, there's just the barrier for entry is you kind of know how to use a keyboard, and you're good to go.
And this one isn't in quite the same spirit as some of our other best Instagram/YouTube comments of the week, but this one popped out as funny to me. And this is on our interview at the Arnold this year with Big Terry Hollins. You know, he lost a bunch of weight and looked svelte.
That's a good interview, too.
That video has been hitting these last couple of weeks, getting a lot of views and a lot of comments.
I saw that, yeah.
Not sure where that's popping up at, but check that video out if you haven't. It's a good interview with him.
Probably the only time Terry will ever be interviewed by two people and not seem like he's as big as he really is. Okay.
Especially in the picture when we angle him, right?
Yeah, I don't know what your comment is, but if it's not this, I want to talk about this.
Okay.
Actually.
So, and I don't know. Interpret this comment how you will. I have a couple different ways that might be meaning, but I want to believe that it's how I want to interpret it here. So this is on that interview where it's Tyler and I interviewing Terry. So Terry is standing in the middle of us. He's wearing a bright red shirt. Tyler and I are wearing the same Massenomics Huge Life shirt. You know, the cover image is us two standing there, and we look good size compared to Terry. Who I
mean, he's definitely bigger than you guys.
Yes, but you know, he doesn't make us look silly.
Yep.
Especially since he lost like 80 pounds. The comment from Edith Calloway says, "3 legends of the sport together. How awesome is that?"
I didn't see that
one. And I just not exactly sure what she means. Like, I don't know who that is.
That'd be really cool if they're actually just a fan of Massenomics, so they're just hamming it up, you know?
Yeah. But I also wasn't sure as we did a few different interviews at that SBD booth. You know, so we interviewed, say, Kaz and Terry Hollins.
Yeah,
and
so we got a few interviews
She could probably be referring to
the series of interviews.
Right. But I like to think of it better that she's referring to...
I do, too. I like that more, too.
There has been some other ridiculous comments on there.
I thought one was pretty good, and so this ties into just kind of because most people don't understand that, you know, when Tyler's in the mix too, our heights range from like 6'1" to like 6'6".
Right.
And a lot of the guys that go to the gym are 6 foot plus too, and most people aren't used to that, I think, in a gym setting.
Yeah.
So when you guys are interviewing him, one of the comments on the bottom was, I think, how tall is Terry Hollins? He's listed at like 6'6". But someone's like, I'm sure that's an exaggeration. He's probably closer to like 6'1" or 2".
No.
It's like actually the two guys interviewing him are like 6'3" and 6'5".
He's about the same height as Tyler, so 6'6" would make sense.
Yeah, right in that 6'6" area.
To me.
But it was funny to like see people debating the height. And like I know firsthand that they're wrong when they were trying to think that he was under. I think they were guessing somewhere between like 6'2" and 6'4".
No, he's definitely like 6'5", 6'6".
Yes.
I think easily without question. The one other comment on that video that poked out to me, actually this was on the Kaz interview, which continues to get a lot of comments. He says, I think Bill meant PRP, not PCP. Bill says something about PCP in there if you listen close. And I think he did misspeak on that. He meaning something else.
Yeah.
And when we recorded this, you know, we had a couple camera angles that we switched to. So the one is your main camera shot on your good camera, and the other one is the
movie. It was the phone, actually.
So you can actually see you in some of those. And he goes, also, is that the back of Juji Mufu's head? So that's
it is a little surprising. I don't get called out on that more at the Arnold, but he is upper body wise much bigger than me. So.
He's pretty jacked.
Yeah.
But I laughed because I knew right away.
That is pretty funny. Yeah. Juji Mufu on the camera.
Juji Mufu was recording our Arnold interview.
He's too much of a liability to be on screen.
He wouldn't be able to hold still long enough to.
No, he'd be the worst cameraman ever.
So that was our best Instagram and YouTube comments of the week. Mark another one off the list, huh?
Another one.
I don't know that we got any good podcast reviews to cover this week, but that we'd like to change that for next week. So if you could go give us a review on Apple Podcasts, preferably 5-star. Yeah, we've had some really good ones in the past too. Some that really make me laugh and that I really get a kick out of.
Pretty much anyone that comes through with sets the bar really high. So that actually might be scaring people away. It's just the quality of reviews.
Damn, those guys are doing a really good job.
Yeah,
I
I'm assuming people are like sitting on these things like for weeks trying to craft the perfect thing.
So here's my challenge to you guys out there. I want to see who can leave us the best one-word review.
Ooh.
Okay,
you can do
you
that.
Can only pick one word.
Do one word, but then do a few returns, and then write a wordy
Yeah,
one because
right.
I like a lot of words.
Right, it is. But I do want to see who can come up with the best one word. So that puts a little pressure.
That
off
is a
of
little
you.
bit of a challenge.
It could be amazing or great or something better than that because I can't think of any good one words.
PCP. Anything really.
Yeah. So someone hit us up with a one-word review. The best one will not receive anything. So there you go. Does that bring us to about our?
That is our time.
Okay. We kind of already talked about the bench shirt, but it never hurts to talk about the bench shirt more than once. We do have that available in every size for now, but we're running low on some of those. We're going to get some more ordered, but if you do want one, I would order one of those now. The lift shirt, we've gotten every size from extra small all the way to 4X. So if you are that 4X guy,
if you bought one a long time ago, you're probably due for a second one.
Yes.
That first one's probably getting a little chewed up. So
yeah, we should have an order. Or this is important news. The world's most expensive shorts. I think that order is probably sitting on my doorstep right now.
Ooh.
So those should be restocked in all sizes.
Very nice.
A good amount of stock in all sizes. The shirt that I'm wearing, if you can look at it, is our Strongman Showdown shirt. We are down to about 8 of those. So if you want one of those for only less than $12, this is your final warning because they will be gone within about a week and will be off the site. So if you want to get yourself probably the cheapest piece of Massenomics gear that you can get, that's your opportunity. Anything else on the website? We redid our website, so if you haven't been there for a while,
hop
just
on
check
there,
that
look
out.
around. We will have maybe
By we,
not,
I mean Tommy.
maybe not by the time you're hearing this, but we will have a new little feature adding to the site sometime soon.
Yeah, new main page.
We'll talk more about that at a different time, but something
that is actually exciting and kind of
yeah.
cool. We usually tease with things that are complete bullshit, but that actually is kind of a cool
there's
new thing that we're
there's
going to be
a cool
doing.
section coming, so yeah.
And that's not just bullshit like it
No,
often
that's
is.
the real deal.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that on the website. Probably subscribe to our newsletter. That's something that we'll probably kick out in our newsletter too once we get one going. YouTube channel, we talked about it. Check out all the Arnold interviews and subscribe on the YouTube channel. All the podcast video is on there, and we've been getting those 100% full in video lately, so we're kind of on a hot streak there.
Technical geniuses over here.
Yeah, Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on Facebook. What do you say, I guess?
Facebook. Do it.
Yes, do the Facebook thing. And then our Instagram handles.
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
Check the Massenomics Instagram account, the official one, out at Massenomics. Don't fall for the poser.
I was gonna say, can I start the unofficial account?
Massenomics. What would you name it?
I would name it Massenomics Apparel, and then just keep liking. Hey, peep the bio.
Be First Apparel or whatever that is.
Just do that whole thing.
Garbage.
Love your page. Check us out.
Hit us up with DMs.
Great post. Yeah. I would do that whole thing.
Yeah. So see you later. See you next time.
See ya.
You just heard the Massenomics podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.